Hey everybody, welcome. Get yourself cozy.
Who touched the rim, whose hands are in
Grab yourself a tea, a water, a wine, whatever.
I need soothing. My lips aren't moving. My God is brooding. Drawn in chalk across the floor, you made it yours, your private door to my room. May those who find you find remorse, a change of course, a strange discord resolve. I need soothing. My lips aren't moving. My God is brooding.
Welcome everybody. Gonna give people a couple more minutes.
I banish you with love.
Enjoy the music till they arrive.
I banish you with love.
Let us know in the chat how you're feeling today. Where are we greeting you on this Tuesday?
Come in. You don't live here anymore.
Yay. Got Amy feeling curious in Southeast London.
Put a spell on you.
Alison is feeling energized after a magical weekend in Maryland.
Cause you're mine.
Got Natasha overwhelmed but grateful. What a combo. Emily is tuning in from California, feeling interested. Gun is feeling empty. I hope this session will fill your cup, Gun.
No, I ain't lying. You know I can't stand
Okay.
it. You're running around. You know better, Daddy.
It's Paulie in West
I
London.
can't stand it cause you put me down. Yeah. I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. You're mine.
Oh, welcome everybody, beautiful people. Welcome back to Creative Quest session 2. greeted there by the beautiful sounds of Laura Marling and Nina Simone. Two perfect songs for today's session. Soothing by Laura Marling was written as a spell. It's a beautiful song, and obviously Nina Simone's absolute classic. I Put a Spell on You. God, has there ever been a voice anything like Nina Simone's? I think not. So welcome to session two. Session two in this Creative Quest kind of arc is always super special. We are joined by a very special guest today who I can't wait to introduce you to in about 10 minutes or so. We've got Carr here, who is our guest quester during this magic quest. And oh boy, are we going to enter a magical realm with Tree. But before that, I would love it if we all got a chance to catch up with each other. The first week of a Creative Quest can be a lot. There's suddenly you've gone from, participating in your own world, and then suddenly you have the perspectives of something that you weren't even necessarily thinking you were going to be exploring for a month, because you all signed up with magic, not knowing you were going to be exploring magic. Not only that, have you got that perspective, you've then got that times by 60 other people around the world. And, I get that. It can be a lot. But over the course of this month, hopefully you'll begin to tune into the things that really have stuck with you in the world of magic. So this first week, your challenge was really, your mission was to become a magnet for this theme. Start welcoming it into your life. We set you some missions, whether that was to take magic for a walk or ask people in your life what their perspectives of magic were. Begin to notice illuminations or things that we find beauty and inspiration in the world around us. These are all ways that you can kind of build a magnetic field for your quest. Don't worry if you didn't get to all of those things. You have 3 weeks left of this quest to go deeper into those. Each week, we're going to add a couple more missions that might take you off on a few little paths, kind of side quests, if you will. But those missions that we set you in week one, they are really like grounding practices. Those are things that you can come back to at any point during this quest, and you will always find something from them. But for now, we are going to go into breakout rooms just for 10 minutes, just to check in on week one. Where did you experience magic? Where did you notice? Just, a general chit chat. And then at 15:15, we're going to introduce you to Tree. One lucky breakout room is going to be in a breakout room with Tree. We don't know who, but you'll be lucky if it's you. Okie dokie. Right. How many breakout rooms do we want? 3 to 4. Perfect. Okay. I'll see you in 10 minutes. Hi there. Emily, I hear you. All good, all good. I am going to jump into one of these rooms, but you just hang here and we'll be back in 10 minutes.
at the result of like a federal organization that like specifically looks into like paranormal events.
Wow.
And yeah, it's bonkers. It's so fun. Um, but I guess while I am talking, I can continue talking about my week. So I went to MagFest last weekend. Um, and basically what that is, it's a music and video gaming convention that's like really kind of close to my area in like the DC area. And so it's kind of like a unique place to like start my Magic journey. And just like, they had like an indie arcade floor, which was like basically a bunch of games set up that were developed by indie developers. And that's where I ran into the concept of alt control, which is a kind of like a collection of indie developers who specifically look to twist the conventional gaming experience. This could be anything from like changing what controller you use, making it more interactive, making it more immersive, something that you have to like physically interact with. One of the ones which I think I did mention in the Magic Walk exercise was the book ritual, which was an absolutely incredible arcade game that was set up to basically you pick up a real life physical book off the table, and this book starts talking to you through the game, and you kind of learn through this game that the book maybe once was human. And so by virtue of, going through a couple of different tasks, like writing in the book, you like draw things in the book, cut out pages, cut out words, glue things together, kind of like unlocking these memories of this book and helping him become human again. And one of the things that you do is actually tear out pages of the book and put them in a real life paper shredder. And it's that action that allows you to keep the magic alive and continue talking to the book, which is a real life physical object that you were holding in your hand. So that was probably one of the most magical things that I experienced, among many, many other things. It's just like really exciting to see the ways that people like expand reality out of a fictional video game, but becoming, almost not fictional. So that was really exciting for me, and I would love to explore that further.
Wow, that sounds really cool.
And like right up your alley too. Like I'm already like thinking ahead to like what's your project from this quest gonna be? I'll go. I had a very opposite experience the past week, or past weekend specifically. I went to the desert, which I find to be one of the most magical sceneries, for many deserts, not all. And I guess there are certain things I could say, but I also want to bring up another thing from the week. I've had a lot of truly, truly magical connections with people who I have just met that day. And I honestly may attribute it to having this magic lens. So for example, last night, I spoke to one of my 3 people, I think it was 3, maybe more, for the week. I called up this new friend who I met mid December. Yeah, he lives in Texas. We had a catch-up call, and I was like, we're gonna talk magic. So we talked magic for 30 minutes, and then I was walking into an event, so that's why I got cut off. And so like, right, hang up the phone, open this apartment door to this event, and the room was just lit up so beautifully. And it was a shock that like, I didn't know what this event really was. I knew it was to celebrate a holiday, but I didn't know what the vibe was going to be or anything. And like, already I'm like, this is going to be a great event. Postscript, It was actually not a great event at all, but I had a fantastic time. And I really attribute it to having walked in and be like, this is going to be magical. There were so many flaws. The leader like could not command the room. There was an interesting character who was like very much on the spectrum, and he kept like making the conversation go away from the program, and the leader didn't know how to manage it. However, like still had a really wonderful time. I'm coming back to the desert. So, but I liked this leader and I wanted to get to know her. And I like, right, I'm like, I'm going to connect with her. There's going to be some magical sparks here. We sit on the couch at the end of the event, talking one-on-one. I mentioned to her that I was like, she's going to be one of the people I talk magic to. I know it's going to resonate with her. And she said, yeah, I was actually in the desert this past weekend. I said, where? Turns out that we were at the exact same viewpoint at this massive crater. And like it's called the camel because it looks like a camel. And it's not that large. I saw every single person who was up on top of the camel. She was right below the camel, and I was looking at the sun instead of down at her. And she's now someone I'm going to consider a friend. And yeah, magic sparks fly.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't hear you, Sam.
That's amazing. Yeah, like magic the connection, yeah, magical connection with people. There is that, like, even sometimes when you like come off a Zoom call and you're like, fuck, that was like, you just get it sometimes with people, right?
So true.
Yeah. Mariam, I want to hear how your week was. We've only got a couple of minutes.
Oh yeah. Oh, we didn't even get to you. I wanted to hear how you basically it was really funny because like I had to leave early. I was with Leah in the call last week, but I had to leave early because we had planned to go to the cinema and I timed it wrong. And we went to watch Poor Things. And so like literally the first advert that came on was like Google Magic AI brought to life. And I was like, no way. What are the chances that literally the first thing out of this session, like that's the first thing I saw.
Let's go.
And then like we watched Poor Things, which set the tone for my week. It's absolutely incredible. And it's like a new Alice in Wonderland, and the Alice in Wonderland like story type is like my favorite kind of story type, this kind of losing yourself to find yourself at the end kind of thing. And then breakout room, 55 seconds. What can I say? Basically,
sorry.
There's been like a bunch of different things that have just like popped up. But I haven't been able to completely attract that kind of like magnetic level of magic that I feel like I could at a different stage of my life, maybe. But I did create a beautiful artwork, which I'll share later. So
amazing.
That was really good.
Super cool.
That's exciting.
Nice. Okay. Let's go back to the other room and
but we've got 17 seconds. I went to a wand making workshop. That was a very magical thing. Yeah, and made a wand out of loads of herbs. It was really good. And flowers.
Out of herbs
and flowers. Yeah. Welcome back. We've got a couple more folks in the waiting room. Okay. Hope you enjoyed connecting with your fellow questers there. Some magical stuff going on in my breakout room with Mariam, Alison, and Leah. But we are moving on to the main event. Where are you? Where's Tree? Oh, there's Tree. Okay, so a bit of information on Guest Quester. So why is this a thing that we do in Creative Quests? So Guest Quester is really a representation of the fact that we really believe in the power of passion. In all my years of doing these creative quests, 8 years now, I've been doing this practice. But even before it was a program, you know, where we had people signing up during the months that I would be exploring these themes, it would always be somebody that I would come across in a month whose passion just absolutely rubbed off on me. There was just like engaging in conversation and in connection with somebody that is like truly, truly passionate about something, and it can be anything. It's almost like you're getting it. They're a portal. People are portals, right, to other ways of understanding the world. And I kind of think of passionate people now as like cheat codes for sort of unlocking new ways to see the world much, much quicker. So when we started thinking about designing this, we knew that a passionate person had to feature in this month as a chance to see the world through their eyes. So our passionate person this month is the wonderful Tree Carr, who I am inviting in now. Hey, Tree.
Hi. Hey, everyone. Thanks for the invite. This is amazing. I feel like honored to be here with creative people, and it's so quest orientated. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we should probably say we met in a fairly, I'm going to say, magical circumstance. We were both at the same bar. We were going to a workshop around sigil design, like magical symbols, but it got cancelled. And in fact, Alex was there too. Alex is here somewhere. And it got cancelled, but we were there anyway. We didn't know each other at this point. And I was speaking to the bar owner because this bar is a pretty amazing place. And I was like, oh, I'd love to host an event here at some point. I run this thing, we're exploring magic and creativity. And Aldine, the person that owned the bar, was like, the person that you need to speak to is sitting on that table over there. She's very powerful. Her name is Tree. And yeah, you need to speak to her about magic. And so, in the spirit of questing, I was like, well, okay, that's a sign right there, gonna just say yes to that. And I came over and spoke to you and your friends, and we had an amazing, you opened my eyes to what magic can be over half an hour or so, and it just seemed like the perfect way to introduce you to this wonderful group of questers that we have.
Oh, thanks. I love a serendipitous, synchronistic moment, because it does feel like you're in alignment with your possibilities when things like that happen, especially because I don't venture out to bars very much. I was there like specifically for that event. So yeah, it was very unique in the sense, because I don't just hang out and I'm hanging out and hanging around. It was like a very usually a daytime person. So it was great to meet you, Sam, and it was really good to connect in a magical way and then bring that magic into this space now.
Yeah, exactly. So I've kind of sent an introduction to everybody to give a little bit about what you do, but would love to get an introduction in your own words to who you are, what you do. I've got lots of questions for you, which I'm going to try and squeeze into like 10 minutes or so, and then would love to hand over to you so you can take us on a journey.
Great. Okay. Well, everyone, hey, welcome and hi. My name is Tree. I guess I'm a magical person. That's why I got asked to come and do this. I'm an author. I work in the field of transpersonal psychology. I work as a death midwife. So I guide people at end of life through the journey towards death in its emotional, psychological, and pragmatic underpinnings of the death journey. Also hold space for people who are grieving and bereaved. I am a high priestess witch, so I was initiated, and I effectively hold magical space for people who identify as witches. And that sounds scary now, like, because we've seen all the Walt Disney films and stuff about witches and whatnot. But effectively, a witch is not sinister at all. The word witch actually is an old English word that comes from the word Wicca, which means wise one. So we're all just a bunch of wise ones. And we're not threatening in any kind of way. We're people who step out in service to community, but also obviously in magical ways. So the path of the witch is a big part of what I do. So
Hmm.
part of that too is holding magical space, magical rituals for various things like the new moons and the full moons and the equinoxes and the solstices and solar returns, and also one-to-one sessions with the tarot, divination, with psychic mediumship, and all of that kind of zone that seems to not fit quite nicely within our context of a proper society. So I'm very much feel that stepping into the empowerment of a witch is healthy and empowering, because we do hold a witch wound within us because of the atrocities of the witch trials, which saw like up to 80,000 people executed under the laws of witchcraft. 80% of those people were women over the age of 40. So it was very gender targeted, and it was I think we still hold that within us as people who identify as women. And it also, we could still see it in systemic misogyny as well. I mean, you don't like someone, a woman, you just call her a witch. And so I followed my path of the witch as a young person, a teenager back in the 1980s. And I've been connected to that magical path since then. I stepped out in service as a high priestess at the age of 40 when I was initiated. And I'm 51 now. So for the last 11 years, I've been doing, I've just been of service. Before that, I was a witch in the broom closet. So I just kept that business to myself. I didn't like share my cosmologies or anything with other people. Although people would see like little hints at, they'd see my tarot cards or they'd see something. They'd say, "Oh, can you read for me?" So really in the last 11 years has been when I've freely speaking about it and actually stepping out in service. So yeah, the zones that I work in are dreams and death and divination and magic. And I am a teacher, so I run courses on learning the tarot, astrology, lucid dreaming, and loads of other, working with plant allies and psychedelics, and any zone that you can get into that can actually change your vantage point and help you connect more magically to this amazing thing called life that we're experiencing.
Amazing. It's interesting you say that kind of word phrase vantage point there. I think that's like a big part of Creative Quest is around using themes to help us see the world around us differently, and participating in worlds and perceptions that we might assume to be sort of outside of our own. And I wondered like how your belief in magic and all of the things that entails for you, how you think that actually shapes the way that you might see the world around you on a day-to-day basis, that perhaps somebody that doesn't practice what you practice or believe what you believe would.
I think one of the primary foundations for stepping into a magical path is viewing the nature of reality through a very different lens. Our structure of reality is seeing it more through a mystic lens. Of course, very much rooted in science, but we don't really see a material reductionist view of reality. Our cosmology is deeply connected to anything is possible, really. Anything can be possible when you put your intention and your energy towards it. And so really stepping into this sort of path, I feel, makes even the mundane day-to-day more magical, because you're walking around with this view and vantage point of reality of like, this is pretty crazy that I'm alive right now, and this is amazing, and look at that bird over there, and look at that tree, and like, wow, look at that guy singing a song randomly on the subway. You end up moving into this a shift into, it makes you live more magically, live more lucidly, and live more connected, I think, by stepping into your day-to-day with a sense of possibility. Anything is possible. Anything can be possible.
I love this. I mean, so you've written this book, which I copped one the other day, A Spell a Day, 365 easy spells, rituals, and magic for the everyday. And there's some bits in here. I obviously haven't gone through all the spells. It's a lot of spells. But I've got to know, the process of writing 365 spells must have been serious. But what I really loved is the idea of spells being you described them as magical conversations with the universe, between you and the universe, offering a spiritual way for you to express your deeper desires and manifest them. Yeah, what's the process of writing 365 spells like? How do you kind of bring together a body of work like that?
Yeah, well, let me tell you, like 365 was like, I was thinking of that Jay-Z song, I've got 99 problems, and I'm like, is there 365 problems? Like, you got to think of the human condition and like, how many problems or things do we need a remedy from? And because we're always stuck between the dichotomy of love and fear, always, as human beings. It's like the primordial angst of our original kind of existential crisis. So I'm like, I had to sit and go, what are all the problems? and try to work them out. But I divided the book down into elements because as a witch, you work with the elements, which are earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. That's 5 elements. And elemental magic is using those different elements to evoke or call in some support. So like, for example, the element of fire, you call it in for some confidence, or the element of water, you call it in for some emotional healing, so to speak. So I broke the book down into 5 sections of the 5 elements. And within those sections, I had spells that correspond with those elements. So for example, the water section for the water elements to call upon water is all like healing stuff. It's like dreams and the unconscious and creativity and all the things that are connected to water as an element. And for example, fire is like, confidence and like sensuality and like sexiness and, things that are more element of fire. And so that's how I broke it down. But how I work it out when I write a book is I create a brain map and I put it on my wall. So I have a wall in the other room and I create like this massive mind map, brain map that almost looks like a spider web. And I connect all the different ideas and I work them out into different sections. And then after the big brain map, I work it down to my word count, like how many words I need for the book. If it's 80,000 words, I make sure I write like 500 words a day, and I break it down in sections and I have a big chart on my wall and I check it off when I hit my word counts. And I get really like very mathematical in the sense.
Practical magic.
Yeah.
We got Imi says in the chat 99 problems and a witch ain't one. Love that. That's the next book. That's got to be the next book.
That's the next song, the remix.
The remix. Let's get Jay-Z on the phone. I love it. Yes, Callie says, where can we get the book? We will, I'll put all of this in the follow-up email. We've got Tree has put together an amazing resources list for everybody to check out, as well as a little challenge. There's going to be time for questions at the end, about 10 minutes or so. So please do any questions that come up, write them down and we can post them to Tree at the end. But for now, I'm going to hand over to you, Tree, so you can tell us a bit more about the world of magic and being a witch and a death doula and everything in between.
All right, so I'm just going to answer somebody's question here. Air, fire, water, earth, spirit, everyone. Oh, let me just redo that to the whole group. I'll just put it in. So those are the 5 elements: air, water, fire, water, earth, spirit. Okay, folks, I'm going to take you on a little journey into magic. What? Sorry for my messy desktop. It's coming so sweet. But really into lost magic, because many of us feel disconnected from magic. In fact, magic, we think of things like pulling bunnies out of hats and like sawing women on in half on stage, and we think of mirrors, smoke, and illusions. But I want to get into the true nature of magic and how to reconnect to it, and how to reconnect to the lost magic that's within us and around us always. And so in doing so, I want to connect back to 16.8 billion years ago. We've got a black screen here, and that's kind of like what it looked like 16.8 billion years ago. It was empty, completely empty. It was a black velvet void of nothing, dark matter. And in that complete, absolute nothingness, something happened 16.8 billion years ago. And it was a singular point of light that just, came out of the nothing. Extreme heat and light, it began to expand. And as it expanded, it pushed outwards into the blackness of the void and started to form matter. Everything from celestial objects to the galaxies, solar systems, and it moved outwards. It expanded, and it's still expanding. And in fact, everything we know, from your body to your memories, to your emotions, to your partner, to your cat, to your car, your mobile phone, everything that we know came from that single point of light and heat 16.8 billion years ago. And that was the first act of magic. And it's still happening. The magic is still happening. We're still expanding our universe. Here's a little diagram model of the universe, still expanding and still happening. The magical act, the cosmic event of the Big Bang is still happening. It's still occurring. Now, science backs up the Big Bang. Science, the scientific models say, yes, the Big Bang has happened. That is the origins of the universe. So if science is backing up the fact that nothing existed and something like a single point of light appeared out of nothing and created everything we know today, then anything is really possible. Anything is possible. If science backs up this impossible event, then surely anything is possible. We can wake up every single day knowing that, hey, anything is possible within this ever-expanding cosmic magical universe. Now, part of this too is it's so crazy that we're even here. It's impossible that you are here. It's impossible that I'm here, Sam's here, Emily's here. It's impossible that Liv is here. Do you realize the probability? And have you ever run the maths on that? The probability of us existing at all comes down to 1 in 10, like that's 10 followed by 2,685,000 zeros. Like, it is absolutely improbable. The fact that we exist through that cosmic event, the odds of us existing is basically zero. So knowing that too is pretty damn magical. Like, that is magic. But the thing is, we're so disconnected from that because we live our day-to-day just thinking that we are, we're in our mundane, but we forget the origins. The origins are from a cosmic event 16.8 billion years ago, a magical event, and it's still happening, and we're here. Wow. So that is magic, and that's what I like to connect people to. So this isn't anything that's like woo-woo. It's not like new age bullshit or something. Like, this is science. That's the reality. That's what we're from. Anything is possible. And so through our long history of humanity, we've sought to try to connect to what is it that that connects us to all things. What is the divine? What is magic? From ancient Mesopotamia, through scrying in bowls of water, through to ancient Egypt, through a lot of their magic and their rituals. Ancient Greece and Rome also carrying through a lot of magical things that they did, external tools that they would use and to create or connect to magic. And we also had it moving through other places like ancient China, as well as here in the British Isles, the Celtic and Druid traditions, moving into external rituals to create magical change, affect magical change, to create possibilities. And human beings have been using tools external to themselves that allow them to go into these zones. So for example, the 16th century in Europe, John Dee, a really famous magical person who worked in the courts of royalty, this little object here on the right-hand side is a scrying mirror. And a scrying mirror is being able to look into the black obsidian mirror to receive images and messages. And here's an image of John Dee's scrying mirror at the British Museum. You can go take a look at it if you're in London. In fact, that's my outline of my silhouette in the mirror there. But we've had these external tools that help us create possibilities. Now, science and magic, they used to be married at one point, and I see them as very important and integral to each other. Now, they divorced in the days of the Enlightenment, and with the rises of Christianity and whatnot, there was more of a separation between science and magic. But I think that they work really perfectly hand in hand, and still think that they should work perfectly hand in hand. Science is effectively observing the universe and collecting data and theorizing. So it's an observational standpoint of the universe. And we need that to try to understand what this is that we're living in. What is the construct and structure of our reality? But then we also have science, and we also have magic. And magic is important too, because it is the participation within the universe. It's through, you participate in the universe through creating, playing, and engaging in possibility. So I think it's healthy to have both. I always say to people, I have 1 foot in each realm, 1 foot very much rooted in the material. We're here to do things and affect change, and 1 foot in the magical, 1 foot in the mystical. Now, moving forward about tools, we all actually have tools around us all the time that we can, mundane tools that we can use in forms of for magic. And you have one in your pocket right now. So it's called your mobile phone. So everyone get your mobile phone, because this is going to be an important part of our exercises and your quest as you move forward. So we got our mobile phone, and check it out. I've always loved this when the smartphones came out. When they came out, I was always like, what with the iPhone? I was like, it looks like a black obsidian scrying mirror. It's what us magical people have been using for thousands of years, to gaze upon the surface and go in altered states of consciousness and get ideas or receive information. And here we have like the iPhone coming up, in our modern age. And I always say, it looks like this, it's my scrying mirror. I always call the iPhone the scrying mirror. And the scrying mirror was used by people to divine and to get information. So here's a scrying mirror ritual. We have a witch who's scrying in a black obsidian mirror. And then we have a mobile phone ritual of just a teenager like doom scrolling on Instagram. It doesn't look very different, does it? We go into trance-like states. We go into a state of, total hyper focus and presence. And so we're doing magic all the time, except we're not doing it with intention. We are on Instagram, doom scrolling, and our brains are going, why am I doing this? I'm stuck in a hypnotic trance. And why am I watching kitten videos at like 4 a.m? And so I'm going to show you how you can use your mobile phone in a conscious way with intention to create magic in your life. So we're going to do a few sample things, sample spells or spell casting. Now, mobile phones are amazing because they're like multi-dimensional portals to other places. You realize that if you were showed your mobile phone to a person 400 years ago, they'd be like, what witchery is this? Put them and burn them immediately on the stake. It would be mind-blowing, but they are multi-dimensional portals. We're able to see YouTube videos from 1945. We're able to watch the latest Netflix series. We're able to, look at so many different things in so many different places. It's instant connectivity. We don't have to do telepathic speaking through magical means when we have it here, able to instantly connect to anyone that we are close to. We can also remote view, which witches do all the time. In the hypnagogic state, when you go into trance states, you're able to see a person and what they're doing in their area. But now you can just do it with your mobile phone. Also with the phones, let's get them ready. All of our things external can be magical tools. Your paintbrush, your music software, you know, your instrument, your voice, everything can be used for magic. So science is just magic that works. They're in the same zone. So if you're able to see your mundane tools through a magical lens, interesting things happen. So get your mobile phone out. We're gonna get your scrying mirror out from, and we're going to look at a few things. So as a magical person, as a witch, in order to, before you cast a spell, you want to cast a circle. So a circle keeps you protected, your energy protected. And this is how you can now open up this exercise that we're doing. So here's how you cast a circle. Find the circle emoji and put it in your chat to yourself. And you could just do a circle emoji. You don't have to actually write anything, but if you see here on my video, I cast a circle around me. I'm writing an intention and I'm sending it back to myself. So everybody send back your circle back to yourself. And it should come back to yourself. So the circle keeps you contained, your energy contained, and you're focused with intention. And now you get to call in the 4 directions, and you text this back to yourself too. The 4 directions are: find the earth symbol. So we have the symbol for emoji for earth. And you could just send that straight up, or you could write something like earth from the north, because that's the cardinal direction. The element of earth is from the north. But you can just do the globe and that should work. Now you want to find the air emoji, which is like a blowing air from the east, or you could just send the air. And now we want fire. So fire's from the south, or you could just send the fire emoji. So you're calling these into the circle. And we also have water, and water's from the west. So you can send the water emoji. And bring that into your digital circle. And also beyond that, you can call in the element of spirit. Now you can call in the element of spirit by just, calling it in, or you can get into, find the emoji for spirit. There is an actual symbol for spirit, and call that in as well. So I want to draw your attention now, before we do some spell casting on our phones, that emojis are powerful symbols. I have a slide here, a meme here. 4,000 years later, we're back to the same language. And literally everything is language, everything is a code. And you can use language and code with intention to, affect magical change. And so we're going to create some example sigils here. So you got all your emojis, and using emojis, you can create a spell. Now, for kindness, this is what you can do. So we have a kindness spell. You want to bring in the act of kindness towards you, more kind energy towards you. So type in your first initial. So my first initial, I'm typing in to my chat. My initial is T. So I've put your first initial in. My first initial is T. And then I want to attract kindness. So I'm going to blow something into my sphere. So I'm going to bring air, and I want a happy face. And then I'm going to finish off this little code with my last initial. My surname is Carr. So I'm going to put the letter C. So I want to send that to myself to attract, to blow in some kindness into my sphere, into my zone, because I'm having a bad day and I just want some kind people to come in. And you can finish off the intention with so may it be. It's always good to say, or it is done. I'm bringing this in. So I'm casting this out to affect change. Now you can manifest a holiday too. I'm going to show you. I want to go to the Maldives. So I'm finding an image of the Maldives, a really beautiful dream vacation, the most perfect beach ever. I'm on Google. I'm looking through. Oh, that one looks good there. That looks like a perfect holiday. I can see myself there on that beach. So I saved that photo and I put it in my phone. Now I'll go back to my texting myself. And I send myself an image of the beach, sending it to myself. I want to go there. I want to manifest that. So I send it out and I just write, so may it be. This is done. This is what I'm going to bring into my life. And sending that out. So manifesting a holiday. That's another little example. Using your mobile phone. We all need money. So manifesting money. Taking a photo of a $10 bill. And I want some $10 to come my way, but more than just one $10 bill. I don't want to just find one on the street. I need to pay my rent or I need to pay my electricity bill. So I send out that image back to myself. But I want not just one $10 bill. I need quite a few. So I'm timesing that by how much do I need? I need 100 of them. No, I need 1,000 of them. Okay, so I'm sending that out. This is what I want to bring back. And so may it be. Examples of how you can create little spells just on the way to work with your mobile phone. Then you want to close the circle too. When you close the circle, you just get the emoji of the circle and some scissors. And you now dissolve or close the circle, and so that your energy is now dissipated from outside of the circle. And you could do that on the mobile phone too. And you can do this all with your mobile phone as a magical tool. Now, this is fun. I'm going to close with this exercise that you're all going to go forward. This is your quest. And it's called A Conversation with the Universe. Now, what we're going to do is, before I show you on my little video here, I'm going to guide you through a meditation to bring you into the state of mind. You want the right state of mind and intention before you start this conversation with the universe. So I'm going to invite you all just to get comfortable. The meditation is very scientific. It's not part of any kind of belief system or spirituality. It's just about getting silent and still. And allow yourself to just close your eyes or have a soft gaze. And we're going to take in a nice deep cleansing breath in through your nose, and draw that breath in all the way up to the top of the breath and release through the mouth on the out breath. And continue to connect to your breath this way, just bringing in a mindful breath, releasing through the mouth. And with each centered breath, try to be quite hyper-focused in really pinpointing the sensation of the air coming in through your nose. And keep that hyper focus on the most subtle of the sensations. It could be the cool feeling of the air moving up through your nose. It could be a tingling or a tickly sensation as it moves up through your nose, but try to let that just fill your entire awareness. And in doing this, we are so aware and present with that sensation, that tiny little sensation, that everything else is now faded. The past is no longer happening. The future is unwritten, and the thoughts in the mind dissipate because our consciousness is just in the very scientific and present moment of the cool air moving up our nostrils. And this is the power of the now moment. In this powerful now moment, anything is possible. And with that awareness, I want you now to bring your focus behind your closed eyelids. Allow yourself to imagine your consciousness sitting on a chair or a seat just behind the bridge of your nose. And your consciousness is looking out into that infinite space behind your closed eyes. So you're looking even beyond the closed eyelids. You're looking into the infinite void, the empty that is there before you, the vast emptiness that was there 16.8 billion years ago, the velvety void of nothing. And in this velvety void of emptiness and nothing, allow yourself to see that spark of light coming into being, that scientific moment from 16.8 billion years ago. Imagine it, see it spark into existence and start to expand outwards, creating objects, celestial objects, galaxies and solar systems, stars, black holes, and move outwards until you start to recognize our own solar system. You see Pluto, and you can see the giant Jupiter and Saturn and the rings, and the beautiful blue Venus, Neptune, pale green. And moving more forward into our solar system, see the beautiful blue jewel of planet Earth. And move closer with your consciousness, expanding towards planet Earth, and now moving through the atmosphere, down through the sky, through the clouds, descending with awareness down through the view of the country that you live in. And now moving down to the very specific area that you live in your country, hovering over your city. And now moving down, hovering over your neighborhood. And now you're hovering over your house or your building. And now moving down through the roof and through the ceiling and into your own room. Now move down through the top of your own head, down into your body, and now into your chest, into your heart. And take a deep breath in and feel the cosmic moment, and that you are connected to that cosmic moment of the Big Bang 16.8 billion years ago. And feel in your heart now how improbable it is that you exist, and that you are here, and that you are magical, and that you can affect change, you can create, and you can evolve this beautiful life that you're living. And now feel in that space a question that you want to ask the universe. Anything at all that you would like to receive an answer for. Could be some help as well. Whatever it is that you'd like, just feel into that and ask that question within your internal dialogue. And then now allow yourself to feel the excitement of the potentials coming through, the possibilities, and just feel the spark of excitement that, you're pretty cosmic. We're going to take another nice deep breath in, and then on the exhale, come back down into the physical reality moment with awareness, with your eyes open, and then now move to your mobile phone. And this is my screen here where I'm going to show you in your mobile phone. So I'm giving you an example. I spoke out to the universe. So this is a message to the universe. I needed help. I said, please help me, universe. That was all I needed that week. Please help me. I'm listening. And I sent that out. But I invite you now to sit with your mobile phone and craft out what you'd like to say to the universe. And when you send it out with possibility and excitement and joy. And then we'll come back in a second when you've sent that out. Right. So what everyone should have crafted was just a text message. So you don't need to Google anything at all. And craft that text message to yourself and a thread towards yourself, but address it to the universe. And when you're ready, press send. And it should come back to you. So what we've done now is you've created a dedicated thread to your magical process, but you've sent out a message to the universe. Now the task is, as you move forward beyond this session, is be aware of the synchronicities that start to come into your sphere. I'll give you an example from my own example here. So I sent out March 14th, 2023, last year. Please help me, universe, I'm listening. I needed some help. I was feeling kind of disconnected. And the next day, I was walking down the street and I saw this, my eye was drawn towards this patch on this girl's backpack. And it said, trust your instincts. And it was really a message that I needed that day because I was overthinking something in my life at the time around a relationship, around a person. And so when this message came in, trust your instincts, I was like, oh, yes, I hear you, universe, I hear you, because I was doubting my intuition about a person. My instincts were saying, they're not very good or very aligned with you right now. So it's best to move away from that person, not to be mean or anything, but it just was not aligning. And so trust your instincts was really helpful. So I took a photo of the backpack and I sent it back to myself in the thread because the universe spoke to me. The universe spoke to me in this very serendipitous way that my eyes happened to fall in the backpack and read that message. So as you move forward, allow yourself to be, you don't have to be looking for them. They will just fall on your radar. Now, another one happened the same day. A bus went by, and you might not be able to read that, or perhaps you can. The bus went by, and the sentence was the art of connecting the dots. And that also meant it was really important for me to hear that too, because what I was trying to work out with this person was I was feeling like something was off intuitively, but also there was a few things that they did that I felt like that doesn't feel like it adds up to a good person. So the universe was saying, yeah, there's an art to connecting the dots. You were right in thinking that this, and the other thing that they did was slightly off. And the universe was just telling me, Tree, connect the dots, and it really helped me getting that bit of information. So I took a photo of the bus and I sent the photo back to myself in the thread with the universe. So as you move forward, your mission now is to be open. Step into your day every morning being like, it's improbable that I'm here right now. This is incredible. Like, it's insane that I exist. I come from that single spark of light from the cosmic event 16.8 billion years ago. That was possible. Anything's possible in my reality. I want to play with the universe. I want to co-create. I want to express. I want to do something cool and good and exciting here and positive. Wake up every morning with that intention. Now, as you move forward in your mundane day, you might find the universe giving you messages and synchronicities. It could be that, and it will come in a way where you're not looking for it. Your eyes will just catch something. Like that's how it happens. So please keep an open mind. Don't be overthinking it. Just roll with it. It will happen very naturally. When you see the synchronicity, if it's like a billboard or if it's an advertisement, take a photo of it and send it back in the thread. If you see a synchronicity through Instagram or something that you see through a social media platform, take a screen grab and send that screen grab back to yourself. If it's something that was that you couldn't take a photo of, text it back to yourself. I had a dream last night of this, or I was walking down the street and this person said something to me. And so text back the experience to yourself in your thread with the universe. What's going to happen is you're going to get like this really amazing conversation with the universe that allows you to trust your own magic and your own ability to play and create within this universe. It might also inspire you in your creative journey. You might have themes that pop up that inspire your work. You might have healing through the process or transcend something that's been bothering you. You might feel just more alive and magical. You might feel like your mood lifts because it's really funny and uncanny. It has lots of good benefits. It can help you along so many different paths of not just creatively, but your well-being as well. And part of this too is being dedicated to it. So make sure you don't miss a beat when you get a synchronicity. Don't shrug it off. Oh no, I'm just imagining. Don't shrug it off. When the overthinking mind kicks in and we get reductionist with our idea, our thoughts, then we prevent flow. We prevent that beautiful, joyous, creative flow. Now, something that's really cool too is that if you're having a shit day and you don't feel magical, you go back to that thread and go, ding, ding, oh yeah, no, that, yeah, this is crazy. This is a magical thing. Like this has cheered me up. So it can be really helpful on the times when you're feeling a little bit blue. Now you can also, create new questions and ask new things, even if you're a creative person in creative process. Universe, show me like some problem solving around this thing, or universe, I need inspiration for a song, or need inspiration for this film I'm working on. So there's so many different ways you can use this thread to the universe to help with your creative process and practice. And it can be like this almost like digital journal or digital thread or sketchbook as well for your burgeoning creative ideas and thoughts. So it can be helpful in so many different ways. I'll give some amazing examples. I didn't go into it with the phone because you've been looking at really long threads of my conversation with the universe, but I've had this ongoing thing with the universe around, I do this thing called shadow work in Jungian psychology. It's like transcending a wounded aspect of yourself or a trauma from childhood or something that feels like it's a difficult dark side in terms of something that impedes your well-being. It could be PTSD or just, an old relationship that really was difficult. So I do these chapters where I do shadow work. And so shadow work is, defined as doing dream work and meditation and lots of different things to help transcend those aspects. So I asked the universe, I was like, I'm feeling so alone in this. This is crazy. Am I on the right path? And I just said it, like, am I on the right path with the shadow work stuff? Like, can you please give me a sign kind of thing? And I was walking down the street and my eye caught this this greeting card in the window, and it was an image of an owl, and the owl said older and wiser, and it just really spoke to me, and it was like, yeah, this is good. No, I'm older and wiser through this process. This is really good. And I looked up the owl, and the owl's like, wow, the owl is actually quite symbolic for shadow work too, because it takes you to the darker places. The owl can traverse through the night, and it's the seer, and it's quite a magical symbol as well. Well, the owl didn't stop appearing to me in these synchronicities. So it just kept going and going and going in terms of like owl here, owl there. And I take photos and send it back to myself. But this is where it gets really, really wild. I was in Lisbon in Spain in August visiting a friend. She lives in the center of Lisbon, big Portuguese city. And I'm sleeping with my partner in the bed. We're ready to go to sleep. He's out like a light. And I am just there trying to fall into sleep and just sort of surfing the liminal threshold. All of a sudden, I hear this bird call, like, and I'm like, what? I'm like, there's no way that's an owl. And I hear it again and again. And I'm like, this is insane. What? There can't be an owl in Lisbon. And the patio doors were open on the balcony because it was like 40 degrees, hot heat wave. So I went out onto the balcony and I just like looked and I was like, and I could hear it. And then I could hear another one. There was two. One was calling the other one. And there was like a tree on the Lisbon street. And I was like, no way. How are there owls here? This is crazy. So I just said, please show yourself. Like, I want, like, please, like, this is amazing. If this is real, please, like, I've been doing the shadow work, and like I was saying it out loud, like, hey, owl, this is amazing. Help me out. Like, I need some support. And at that moment, the owl flew out of the tree in this silent flight. Like, they're so quiet. And it flew down over to the balcony and landed on the post. And it was like that big. And I was just absolutely mesmerized. And I was looking at it and I was like, yes, you are with me. Yes, I can do this. I can do this shadow work. Everything's connected. This is amazing. I'm going to keep going. Thank you, owl. And it flew off and it flew away. And the next morning at breakfast, I'm talking to my friend Joanna. I'm like, oh my God, I saw an owl last night. It flew down. It was seriously. She's like, no. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, there are no owls in Lisbon. No. Are you sure you didn't dream it? I'm like, I didn't dream it. No, I was totally awake. It was like totally wasn't a dream. I was like, hadn't even gone to bed yet. Hadn't even gone to sleep yet. And she was like, that is incredible. Like never seen owls in Lisbon. And so that's an example of how interesting it can get when you stay dedicated to this thread. And it's not just in ways for your personal development. Like I said, it can get very exciting for creative inspiration and just follow the threads. And it also just like opened up the magic for you all. And you can see your mobile phone through a different lens, literally a different lens, use it in a different way. What also might be really helpful too, is it makes you appreciate the magic that this is. So a lot of us are addicted to these, like really addicted to these to the point we're in trance states and we're feeling off and ill and not good from it. And some people, it even impacts their mental health and their emotional well-being. So hopefully it will help you look at the mobile phone as something to be honored, as a tool to respect, and using it for the higher good for yourself and for others, and using it in a way like a magical tool. That will also help you to not feel sickened by it or depressed by it or agitated as well. If you mindfully and awarefully approach this tool in those ways, it can change your mundane day-to-day with this tool. So those are my thoughts around how you can move forward with something that we all have in common, which is a mobile phone, and how you can kickstart your magical practice. And I think that's it, Sam, unless there's questions.
Amazing. Can we get a round of applause, unmiked round of applause for Tree, please? Woo, woo, woo.
Woo!
Thank
Mhm.
you.
So much. I absolutely love that. I would love to open up for questions. We've got 10 minutes or so of being able to talk to Tree about anything, and it could be texting the universe, it could be about writing spells, or any of the things that she's shared. If people want to kind of like put their hands up in the chat or write their questions in the chat, that would be great.
Someone wrote, Anna Maria says, would it affect the connection if I start a new chat every single month? Not really, because you'll find too that the connections, they might like blend into each other anyway, like your questions. So just use your intuition on that. But it's like those things, right? You don't want to overdo something because you get stuck in a reductionist thinking, like try now, try now. So it's like about getting into that like slightly altered state of consciousness, or that very present awareness when you send out the message, but use it in a mindful way. And it should be fine. Was there more Q&As? There's a Emily Bliss, maybe I'll answer this. Oh, sorry, I just said your name. Anyway, maybe we'll go back to
We've got Leah. Leah, do you want to unmute?
Yes. I feel like we should ask for an additional 10 minutes, like almost like a genie of more than 3 wishes here. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. That was just like really mesmerizing. My question is about spirit, like earth, wind, fire, air, we hear about all the time. Can you speak to spirit?
Yeah, so spirit is just a word that defines what we're all trying to work out what this is. So spirit is like other words would be God, the divine, the universe, Allah, Brahman, Yahweh, the goddess. There's so many archetypes of gods and goddesses that are connected to it. And it literally is the boundary dissolving oneness that connects all things. I see spirit as the cosmic event, like the first spark of fire, of light that came out of the nothing, that connects all of us. In esoteric speaking, it's called the divine, or spirit's called like ether. It also holds like a quality in alchemy, ether, spirit, but it is, I really think it's quite open. I mean, we are the divine. We come from the cosmic moment. So spirit is I like to say it's the boundary dissolving oneness that connects all things. It is the unity of one. And there's science behind that, because everything is connected within quantum field. Everything is connected through subatomic particles. Like that's to me, that's spirit. And speaking to spirit is good, because it means there's it's an altruistic and it's for the greater good. It's connected to all things.
Amazing. We've got another question here from Caitlin. Does everybody have the power of ability of being a witch, or is it a gift that you're born with?
I think we all are. We all are. We're all cosmic. We're all magical. 100%. There's different words for it. In one language, it could be a witch. Another language, it's the wizard or the shaman or the priest or the guru, the seer, the sage, the prophetess, the sorcerer. I mean, these are just words to describe the same thing, which is a person who stands on the edge of reality, person who has 1 foot rooted in the material and 1 foot rooted in the cosmic. Science meets magic. It's about being able to go into the non-ordinary states of consciousness to get the bigger vantage point always. And so effectively, we all have it. We all are it, but we just don't see it. That's it. It's pretty simple, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I've been listening, and I know a few other questers here have been listening to the amazing Witch podcast that was BBC 4 last year. It's on Spotify for those who haven't listened to it. And I'm like maybe 6 episodes in, and I'm convinced I'm a witch at this point. I'm like, there's so much stuff in here that I'm like, I kind of do that in my own way, and I kind of like connect with nature in this way, or I believe in shaping my relationship with the universe, I'm like, does this make me a witch, or it's an identity thing, right?
Yeah, I think witch is an identity thing. It's also claiming back a power that was taken away from us. We were
Yeah.
basically murdered for it, just for being the wise helpers or healers in community. But I'm personally like, I'll say I'm a witch, a high priestess, and I'm not about labels really or boxes, because I don't think there's a gatekeeper to the boundary dissolving oneness of all things. I don't think there's a gatekeeper, and anyone who says they're a gatekeeper, I'd be a bit concerned about that, because we can all access it. So if someone comes up to you and says, oh, follow me and follow my ways and give me this much money, like, I will give you the keys to the mysteries. It's like there's no gatekeepers. We all hold the keys and abilities within us. And I think a big part of my magical path is that I just like to walk alongside people to make them activated into that, so they go, I am empowered, I can do it. It's like, yeah, you can do it, I don't have to do it for you, you can do it.
Yeah.
And so I think these roles pop up in order to be guides and helpers and not gatekeepers. So there's words like witch and high priestess, but I just want to tell you, from the most humblest of places, I don't claim to know more than anyone else. I'm still learning and still part of this cosmic expansion. And we're just here to all help each other. That's how I see it. I see it through that sort of lens. I'm not into hierarchies, even though the word high priestess makes it sound like I'm higher than you, but it's probably more because I'm like high on magic mushrooms or something, or high on psychedelics. I see it more like I'm high that way. I'm high up in the height of the cosmos, in the cosmic moment, because that's what keeps me rooted in the magic of the mundane. So I'm not into denominations and boxes and things like that. We should all be free, and we should all be connected. We're all connected. So that's kind of my ideas around labels.
We've got 5 minutes left of questions, and we've got I think 3 or 4 questions so these might have to be more quick fire answers, but we'd love to get an answer from them. Tara says, we'd love to hear your perspective on dreams and whether dreams hold magic.
Yeah, dreams are total magic. Dreams are experiences of consciousness in the altered state of sleep. So they're not ridiculous, absurd reveries that you should shrug off. They are your consciousness having experiences in an altered state. Your altered state is sleeping, and they are very valid, and they are very interesting and very magical. If you've ever explored the realms of lucid dreaming, where you're conscious and aware and interfacing with your dream characters, it's mind-blowing. If you've ever had an out-of-body experience, like, your consciousness is able to have experiences in liminal thresholds, and you can receive so many cool experiences and information in those thresholds, including creativity, scientific information, like healing. Check out my Instagram live today. It's recorded up there. I share a few things that have come through in dreams, and it gets really mind-blowing. So yeah, definitely dreams are incredible for that.
Amazing. And you're running a lucid dream course at the moment, I believe.
Yeah, actually, I think there's some students here tonight, right?
Yeah. I think Alex is here. Callie says, have you tools to connect with those who have passed?
So those who have passed away, it really depends on your ontological beliefs. I'm of the perspective that nature is far more stranger than we can even imagine, and that energy never really dies, it just changes form. And science does back that up too. And whether that falls in the umbrella of consciousness, it's to be debated. But from my own personal experience, I do think that you can still connect to those who have left this, the meat suit. They're still around, they're just in the other room. They're just on the other side. And I do support the belief that there could be multiple dimensions, 100%, like all these varieties. But to access that sort of thing, to connect to those on the other side, would take the intention first, and then also moving into a slightly altered state of consciousness, because it's kind of difficult to contact them when you're in the chattering monkey mind. DreamWorks a really great way. moving into a meditation with intention, and you'd be surprised what can come through. I've seen some stuff, and it's been amazing. But yeah.
We've got time for two more quick questions from Mia and Mariam. Mia, did you want to unmute and ask your question?
I was just wondering if you could say a bit more about plant allies.
Yeah, so plants can be allies, our friends, our guides, and our helpers through so many different things in life. We all know, and science backs up, that plants can help in healing, with healing benefits, from aloe to treat the burn on the skin, to chamomile to help soothe you into sleep. But plant allies can also be your guides on a more on the realms of consciousness. So certain plant allies are able to bring a person into an altered state of consciousness and open up a door to a perception of reality or a vantage point that you wouldn't normally be able to see. So entheogens or psychoactive plants, psilocybin like magic mushrooms, wanirigens, which are dreaming plants and herbs like mugwort or Calea zacatashishi. These are all plants that can change your mind and let you see a different vantage point. Now, these plants all have long histories of being used in shamanism, the original cosmology, where we were much closer to the nature world. And they were rites of initiation, where people were able to, live better and understand the world in a better way by working with these plants. So they do have their help, in opening up the gateway to get into that boundary dissolving moment of interconnectivity. In fact, most people who work with a plant ally, like really psychedelic ones, like including ayahuasca, upon emerging from an experience like that, it changes the way you live, that changes how you want to roll in this life. It improves your relationships. It makes you more empathetic and compassionate to all sentient life. Some folks change what they're doing for a living, and some people even change their diets because of it. So they can really open up quite a scope, a different vantage point. And I think that's why psychedelic assisted therapy is so hot right now too.
Yeah, fascinating.
Thank you.
Great question, Mia. And final question from Mariam.
Yes. I actually had a question around femininity, like the feminine energy and how that plays into and potentially the masculine energy, like the difference between those and how that like plays into, being a witch or yeah. I didn't know how to like formulate that question, but it's something around like the female energy, whether that plays a part.
I lean into these things from an intersectional perspective. And I think gender is a human construct in many ways. I mean, we can observe in nature the different kind of different body parts and things like that or whatnot. But I think we're beyond that as a consciousness. And I do think there's a fluidity to it as well. And perhaps our, our construct of reality, our nature of reality is really still stuck in these sort of binary codes. And certainly the esoteric is as well. Like there's the masculine star signs and the feminine star signs, and there's the masculine element and the feminine element. And I do think as we evolve our consciousness as well as the planet and as we're expanding outwards in the universe, it's going to get really wild, because I do think that these lines, it's just going to get way more blended in the future. I think these we're growing out of these old archetypes, so to speak, or old energies as well. And I do think it's just going to be way it's going to be pretty genderless. I think it will be. I'm just talking from like a cosmology like vantage point. But yeah, we still are living in the construct of the feminine and the masculine. We know that because we still experience systemic misogyny and we experience homophobia and all these things. So we're still very much rooted in that. And I think we have a long way to go. I think we need to heal. We need to heal the genders. We need to heal the toxic masculinity. We need to heal toxic femininity, and we need to nurse the feminine wounds and the masculine wounds. And maybe once all that's done, it all sort of blend into one beautiful, boundary dissolving one thing. But we're currently really rooted in still with a lot of pain and trauma and fighting and lot around gender. But to get there, healing needs to get there first, and understanding and openness. And I think that's the way forward, really.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for your generosity with your time and your questions and your energy and your ideas, Tree. It's been really amazing to see the world through your lens, through your magical lens. So we've got some missions for you for the week ahead. There's one that is not written up right now because I couldn't quite find the wording for it, but I feel like this session has helped. So it will be in the wrap-up email. For the first week, the first half of this quest, if you imagine it as a shape, it's all about going outwards. Week 1 is about casting that net as wide as you can, researching magic, speaking to people about magic as much as you can. This week is still in that sort of outwards trajectory. Start thinking about the things that you have found interesting in the world of magic. Maybe it is the things that Tree's been talking to us today. Maybe you found yourself interested in completely different types of magic, street magic or cardistry or anything. There are lots of different ways that we can find ourselves into this world of magic and all the ways that it can exist for us. Next week is when we start kind of going back inwards and we start thinking about how we might start to tune in and focus in on things that have really, really illuminated us. So part of your missions last week were to keep an illuminations list, things that particularly move you, inspire you, or surprise you in your world around you. Keep note of those things. These illuminating moments are very often the beginnings of fragments for great ideas. And we're going to be speaking a lot about how we take those illuminating moments and turn them into creative acts that we can put back out into the world. There is a couple of missions. As I say, there's one that isn't on here, but it will be in the wrap-up email. But so of course you've got Trees texting the universe. We want you to start that text thread. Maybe we can have a check-in next week and the following weeks about how your text chains with the universe are going. We think that participating in worlds outside of our own are really, really important. So we want you to go on a magical mystery tour. Go on this website. It's called randomcountrygenerator.com. We want you to spin the globe and it will take you to a random country. And we want you to try and discover some magical practices, cultures, ideas, people, anything magic related to the place that you end up. I gave this a spin earlier and I did it twice actually, ended up in Lebanon and then in Japan. And I can tell you that there are some absolutely amazing magical things happening in these places that I never would have found had I just stuck to a, UK perspective on the world immediately around me. So do that and share the most interesting you find with us, most interesting things you find with us on Discord. And finally, and there'll be a more detailed version of how to do this in the wrap-up email. We want you to design a sigil, a magic symbol. So earlier, Carr Tree showed us doing some kind of like emoji sigils. We've got a step-by-step kind of guide on how you can design your own magical symbols. And the final mission, which isn't written down here, is going to be about you sharing your magic, creative magic, with us. Everyone in this room will have their own magic powers, whether it is how you move through the world or a creative practice, cooking, dancing, writing, anything. And I think we should start sharing those with each other, to see how we all creatively participate in day-to-day life. So there'll be a mission around that. We're back next Tuesday. And next week, we're going to be getting more into designing magical missions for each other. We're going to guide you through a framework called the 5 pathways, which is different ways that you can creatively connect with the world around you. And it's going to be fast-paced, playful, creative mission making with each other. We have another campfire this Thursday. It's at 6 p.m. UK, 1 p.m. Eastern, and it's on the theme of spells, carrying on this week's theme. If you could cast a spell, who would it be for? Have you ever felt that a spell has been cast on you by a person, a moment, a piece of art? Over the course of an hour this Thursday, we'll have a chance to share some stories with each other. Campfires are a total highlight. They really are a chance they're like an hour-long breakout room where you can just really get to know your fellow questers much better. So would love it if you could join us this Thursday. If not, yeah, we'll be back next Tuesday, 6 p.m. UK time. Tree, any parting words?
Stay magical, everybody.
Amazing. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on Discord. I'll send out the recording and the wrap-up email tomorrow. Bye everybody, have a magical day. Bye.